one of the things that contributes to crime, of course, is homelessness and lots of people being homeless and having mental illness issues. So she talked about how they plan to crack down on that. Here she is.
Metropolitan Police Department, with the support of the new federal agencies who have been surging on the streets of the District of Columbia, are going to enforce the laws that are already on the books here in Washington, D.C. For far too long, these laws have been completely ignored, and the homelessness problem has ravaged the city. So D.C. Code 22-1307 and D.C. Municipal Regulation 24-100 give the Metropolitan Police Department the authority to take action when it comes to homeless encampments. So homeless individuals will be given the option to leave their encampment, to be taken to a homeless shelter, to be offered addiction or mental health services, and if they refuse, they will be susceptible to fines or to jail time.
Fines I don't really get.
Because they can't pay them.
But the jail time I get.
Yeah, exactly. They're going to be like, this is the whole reason we're homeless, is because we can't pay them. Hello.
Yeah, let me just write you a check for that fine. That's just not going to happen.
The other options are good options.
Yeah.
I mean,
if they can go to a shelter,
right.
Hello.
Or if they require counseling, we're going to provide that for you. I think that these are all good options for these people.
These are, yes, absolutely. These are exactly the right options. Mm-hmm. And, they're cracking down on it. And I cannot understand all the people that are like, we're going to fight against fighting crime.
Why?
Because that's the new Democrat thing.
Exactly. Fight against anything that he wants to have happen, which are good things. Okay.
Right. So you know how she has someone from alternative media there in the press room a lot. Yesterday, it was Benny Johnson's turn, and he was there to talk about his own experience with DC crime. He's lived there for 15 years. Here he is telling a little bit of his story.
Resident of 15 years. I lived on Capitol Hill. I witnessed so many muggings and so much theft. I lost track. I was carjacked. I have murders on my Ring camera and mass shootings. I witnessed a woman on my block get held up at gunpoint for $20, and my house was set ablaze in an arson with my infant child inside. Jeez. And so to any reporter that says and lies that DC is a safe place to live and work, let me just say this. Thank you. Thank you for making the city safe, because no parent should have to go through what my family went through, having the fire department rip open their door to save their infant child. Nancy Pelosi has attacked the president for deploying the National Guard to the city, saying that it is to cover for his incompetence. Hillary Clinton has also attacked the president for securing the city of Washington, D.C. I'd like to get your response to Nancy Pelosi and Hillary Clinton.
Sure. Well, first of all, Benny, I'm so sorry that happened to you and your family. There have been, unfortunately, far too many victims of crime in this city, and I know the majority of residents in the District of Columbia agree with you. In fact, a new poll from the Washington Post I was reading this morning, this was released in May of 2024, so it's quite funny how many of you in the media agreed with what the president was saying yesterday, but now once the president says it, many of you are disagreeing with him. But this poll released by the Washington Post found that 65% of district residents think crime is an extremely serious or a very serious problem, and this was up from 56% last year. So the concern that you share with so many other residents in the District of Columbia is real, and that's why this president is taking action to address it. To get to the heart of your question, I think it's despicable that Democrats cannot agree that we need more law and order in a city that has been ravaged by violence, crime, murders, property theft. This should be a winning issue for all Americans.
But I mean, Trump said it, so we got to go against it, right? It just shows how rampant TDS is. And people are saying that he moved to Tampa. I would too. I wouldn't want to live in DC.
No, God, no.
I'd much rather live in Florida. Are you kidding? Tampa's beautiful.
I mean, especially when you got Governor DeSantis.
Totally.
So Benny also asked about the fact that Big Balls, who recently tried to get in the midst of a crime in progress and then ended up getting absolutely beat up in the process. Benny asked an interesting question of Karoline, and she entertained it as only she can. Here is that exchange.
To that, given the heroic actions of a member of this administration just a few blocks from this building, will the president consider giving the Presidential Medal of Freedom to Big Balls?
I haven't spoken to him about that, but perhaps it's something he would consider. I'll ask him and get back to you, Benny. Thanks for being here.
She's such a rock star.
I know, she really is. She totally is. There's nobody better.
There just isn't. I mean, she's so good. I have such a crush on her. She's so good. But to your point, the TDS is rampant in DC, and at MSNBC, I don't know this guy's name, the guy with the silver spiky hair. Very, very weird, spiky white hair. He is insisting that the crime is down, you guys. Everything is fine.
Relatively small crime problem is being used for specific authoritarian purposes that we know and understand. So let's be clear about DC does have one really big crime problem, which was the January 6th insurrection incited by the current president of the United States.
Oh my God. You're doing that? Really? He looks like he's a character from The Incredibles. Like,
yes.
Doesn't he?
Yes.
Like, he should be in some sort of a comic. I can't with that guy. We're going to talk about January 6th in response to this. This is what they're doing. Who's tired of this shit? Raise your hand. I can't. They're going to be doing this 10 years from now. They're going to be like, but Trump, and Trump is going to be long gone. And they're going to be like, but Trump. And we're all going to be like, oh my God, these people are insane. I can't. I just can't.
I know. It's just so absurd that is what they're going with, but that's what they're going with.
That's it. That's all you got, dude. Okay.
So I will give a tiny bit of credit, an bitsy, teeny weeny bit of credit to Joe Scarborough, who was trying to admit to his various guests that maybe this is maybe there is some crime and maybe people are actually worried about it. He tried to get Simone Sanders to agree that maybe having more police around is a good thing. It's a good way to deter crime. She was not having it.
Police make streets safer. No, Joe, I'm a black woman in America. I do not always think that more police make streets safer. When you walk down the streets of Georgetown, you don't see a police officer on every corner, but you don't feel unsafe. So what is it about talking about places like Southeast DC, right? Ward 8, if you will, that people say, well, we need more officers to make us safe. I think we have to rethink what safety means in America.
Okay, so let's just
redefine it. They always want to redefine it. They want to redefine everything. Let's transform it. That's what we want to. Okay.
Oh,
they hate police until they need them.
Exactly.
And then they're like,
so true.
Call 911. Oh, okay, biatch. Because it's like, this is any time. Like, if she ever needs 911, they should be like, I'm sorry, we can't come to your house. Because this is what they do. They always say, I hate the police. I hate the police. I hate law enforcement. We don't need them. Let's redefine. Let's transform. Let's do X. And then they'll be the first people that are like, I really need the police.
Right. My car is getting stolen.
Right.
But there's no crime and defund the police. Okay. So Ericson tweeted about how just ridiculous this is too. He said, what we're seeing is Animal Farm. The white progressives insist there is no crime in DC because they live where there is no crime, often not even in DC. And because they don't see it or they're not victims of it, it does not happen. You talked about that yesterday with somebody on Facebook.
Yep. A lot of the people that I know that are like, but I stayed in this 5-star hotel and I was fine. So I don't understand why everybody is complaining about the crime because I didn't experience it. I had a lovely time when I visited DC. Really? Okay. Oh my God. So ignorant. It's so ignorant.
It's just like monkey can't see. You know what I mean? You think of them just going, there's no crime, there's no crime.
No.
Babylon B said, Democrat mayors report violent crime down 40% since they redefined violent and crime.
Oh my God.
It's so perfect though, right?
It really is. It is. It reminds me of like when they used to say, there are no illegals coming into the country.
The border's secure.
Yeah, the border's completely secure. Remember when they used to say that all the time? And then
Oh, I
they were
remember.
forced to admit, oh crap, maybe we did let 20 million people in here unvetted. Oh shit. It's like, but remember for years they would say they didn't even acknowledge it. The only person that was acknowledging it was Bill Malhusian with the hair on the border.
Yes.
He was the only person reporting that. And then they were kind of forced to talk about it after years of ignoring it, which is precisely what they're doing now. Same thing, different day.
It is. It's exactly the same thing.
Mhm.
SE Cupp, who I almost never agree with, actually made a really good point about this. And, I think she's one of the people, just like Anna Navarro, who claims to still be Republican.
What does SE stand for? Sad elitist? What does that stand for? Seriously. I'm being honest. Like, what does her name? I've always wondered what SE stands for.
I don't know. Does it say, we should look at Wikipedia and see if
We
there's
really
like
should.
I don't
Maybe
know
somebody
if
can tell us.
somebody
I don't
can
want to look
report
at it
back.
now. I like sad elitist though.
That does work. It works
It
really,
does.
really
It
well.
works. Mhm.
So I want to play that clip of her talking about how just wrong Democrats are in the way that they're strategizing about this whole crime in DC thing. But first, I want to tell like a little bragging story, if I could, just really quickly. I told you this
Yes.
already before the show started. But you guys, this whole bond charge, the red light face mask. So I've used it like four times or so, and I used it on, I think it was like Saturday or Sunday. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I just sat with it for 20 minutes. I had it on, you guys. It looks like this. I know I've shown it to you before.
You're supposed to use it 10 to 20 minutes each session. Right.
So this is what it looks like. It Velcros behind your head and then you turn on the red light, right?
Right.
So I do it when I just really want to like chill and relax for 20 minutes. I take the time and I do it. So I didn't think anything of it. I put it away. The next day, I went to visit my husband in his office upstairs, and he looks at me and he was like, "Your skin looks really good." And I was like, "It does?" He said, "What are you doing different?" I said, "The only thing I have changed is this red light mask therapy." And he said, "It's really doing something good for your skin." So now I'm like making sure to set aside time
You're
to
like,
do
I want to
it
do
more.
it every day, twice a day. Right.
Right?
It's great.
so great.
It's awesome because it's not just skincare. It's like, it's awesome. Like the advanced red light, it's the good stuff, right? I mean, I was shopping around for one of these before we got the sponsorship, and they were all like the hard shell. I didn't like any of them, right? This one is flexible. I really like it. It doesn't feel hot. It doesn't feel bulky. You can just like, you relax. I don't ever relax. So I can like, I walk around and I clean and stuff. I do all the stuff with it on, and I like to scare the dogs with it. That makes me gleeful. So it fits into my lifestyle. You can travel with it. It's rechargeable. It's just really awesome. This thing is so great. And you know how we're always about like, don't F with your face, but this is one of those things where you don't have to F with your face, but it definitely helps with making sure that you don't look like a crypt keeper at some point. You know what I mean? So go to bondcharge.com and use code CHICK, save 15% on it. That's BONcharge.com and use code CHICKS for 15% off. Get a glow up, you guys.
I just love mine. And it comes in like a handy little
I know.
silky bag. I just love it. It's just been such a great addition to the routine.
Yep.
All right. So getting back to SE Cupp, she is 100% right on this point.
And the numbers can be what they are, but also people don't feel that way. And when it comes to two things, crime and the economy, feelings don't really care about your facts. And I can't tell you how profoundly stupid it is for Democrats to get up with their facts and their figures and their charts and their graphs and say, look, you're safe. Can't you read this chart, idiots? Why are you complaining? I'm showing you right here how safe you are, so shut up and move along. I don't have to tell you how profoundly stupid that is, because voters told you how profoundly stupid that was in 2024 when Democrats said, see these economic numbers? The economy's great. What are you complaining about? See these crime numbers? Crime's down. You're safe. See these immigration numbers? Obama deported way more. There's no migrant crisis. I can't tell you enough that politics is perception, and the numbers can be right, but you never tell voters they're wrong about how they feel.
But that was so perfectly stated. I have to say.
Yeah, it was actually.
Because that's what they do. This is what they do. They insisted on so many things to gaslight us in the last administration.
Oh my God.
Every issue they gaslit us. And
Off
we're like,
the charts.
I mean, we're living in reality. We know you're full of shit.
It was completely, the gaslighting was off the charts. And now they're like, no, it's fine. The crime's fine. You're not living with normal people. You guys are living in gated communities with all of your armed guards. F off. So don't tell me how you feel about it. Because we're living in reality and you're not. So yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So Morning Joe was trying to talk more about this, to actually admit that there are Democrats who agree with Trump's actions in DC. He actually read a text that he got from a very liberal friend of his to a guest on his show, and it's just very telling.
And he says, this may sound controversial, but I'm not totally opposed to Trump's National Guard move in D.C. I know he's doing it for politics, but crime remains rampant. I've had too many friends carjacked, shot at. None of us will walk more than 3 blocks after 8 p.m. 13-year-olds are committing many of these crimes. Quite a change from a decade ago when things were much calmer. Well, that actually sounds like the D.C. that I lived in when I lived a block behind the Supreme Court. And, you know, every 3 days, one of my neighbors was getting held up at gunpoint. I mean, there has been a crime problem in D.C.
I mean, I hate that he said he's doing it for politics. He's not doing it for politics. He's doing it because he wants to help.
He wants the city to be freaking safe.
Right.
The city is mostly Democrats, too.
Right.
That's what's so amazing to me.
And he doesn't want to live in a cesspool. He lives there now with his family. He doesn't want to live in a cesspool. How about that? He's not doing it for politics. Good Lord.
I know. But at least he's not trying to hide the fact that he's hearing from liberal friends of his who are like, yeah, this is actually, I'm glad that this is happening.
Exactly. Like, it's real. The crime is real.
Yeah. And he told Mika that it's not just, acquaintances of his, it's Democrats who are, for whatever reason, secretly agreeing with this whole policy. But in public, they're like, oh, this is terrible. He's a tyrant and he's a dictator. God. Here's what he said to Mika.
Back to the fact that, the people that are cheering this on privately are not like right-wing Republicans, are not MAGA people. A lot of our friends are in the media, and also Democrats that worked on Joe Biden's campaign, that worked on other campaigns, that are saying, yeah, I'd like to feel safe walking around this city. If the federal government can be a positive partner in keeping the streets safe, while, again, forming a partnership with the D.C. police and not taking over, then at least the people I've spoken with that live in D.C. day in, day out, see this as a positive step.
Lord forbid they agree with him,
Well, she didn't want to.
You can tell she was visibly uncomfortable. She doesn't look good either,
She's married to
Joe. She's married to a guy that thinks he's a rock star.
He probably plays the banjo a lot.
He plays, he's like, I play the bass. Like, he's at nighttime, he does it. He's like, listen to my new song, Mika. And she's like, I want to stab myself in the ears, Joe.
Right.
Yeah.
So, we gotta consider
give her a little bit of grace. Just a little bit of grace.
A little bit of grace. Now, she tried. She had a former chief of police on to talk about this. I think she was anticipating that this police chief would be like, this is not for the federal government to get involved in. However, that's not how it went.
What's your sense of how this will work?
Well, I will tell you that after listening to the press conference yesterday, I feel much better this morning. Just in the last 24 hours, Chief Pam Smith of the Metropolitan Police Department has spoken with Terry Cole, the interim commissioner. As a former police chief, if somebody would have come to me and said, "Hey, we're going to bring 500,000 more law enforcement officers in to assist you," what's not to like about that? You could.
Exactly. What is not to like?
Right. I swear.
So Pam Bondi also tweeted about this yesterday, saying, I just concluded a productive meeting with DC Mayor Bowser at the Department of Justice. We agreed that there's nothing more important than keeping residents and tourists in DC safe from deadly crime. At President Trump's direction, the Justice Department will work closely with DC city government and the police department to make Washington, DC safe again.
How is that bad?
No one should have a problem with this.
I know. And if you do, you suck. You're just,
Right?
if you have a problem with this, you are a liberal with TDS. I'm sorry for you. Like, seek help.
Right, exactly. Now, the DC police chief, kind of a loser. Charlie Kirk actually tweeted about her. Her name is Pam Smith. She is the former chief equity officer.
Oh my God.
How that gave her qualifications to actually oversee the entire police department, I have no idea. But she doesn't even understand the term chain of command.
Oh
you
my
guys.
God.
I almost could not believe this. She was answering press questions, and somebody said, okay, so what's the chain of command going to be? And she was like, what? And
What's a
Mayor
chain of command?
Bowser, Mayor Bowser had to come and kind of rescue her. Here is that moment.
Oh my God. Okay.
What the chain of command is now?
What does that mean?
Well, is it Pam Bondi speaking to the mayor, speaking to you, or how does this work?
So,
What does that mean? It really only just means the one thing.
I have no words. I see stupid people. Just so many stupid people. So many in charge all over the place. And it's because we had to check boxes. And you know what? If you're a Black person out there right now, you're like, why did you do that? Because it makes me look bad. Why did you do that? I mean, at the very least, she could have hired a smart Black person because we exist. But that lady's dumb. She's dumb. And it's just like, why do you do that? Why do you do it?
I don't know. It just makes no sense that
God,
she's
it's
actually
so
overseeing
stupid.
the entire department, and yet she is. All right. So just to put like sort of a fine point on this whole discussion about crime in DC and just what's going on with Trump and nationalizing everything. We have another episode from Diaper Diplomacy, and the cast of characters always gets me. So please enjoy babyfied versions of a whole bunch of people.
And if we need to, we're going to do the same thing in Chicago, which is a disaster. We have a mayor there who's totally incompetent. He's an incompetent man. And we have an incompetent governor there. Pritzker's an incompetent. His family threw him out of the business, and he ran for governor. And now I understand he wants to be president. But I noticed he lost a little weight, so maybe he has a chance. You know, you never know what happens. But Pritzker's a gross incompetent guy, thrown out of the family business. But when I look at Chicago and I look at L.A., if we didn't go to L.A. 3 months ago, L.A. would be burning like the part that didn't burn. They didn't give their permits. I went to a town hall meeting. I said, we're going to get you the federal permits, which are much harder. Almost immediately, Lee Zeldin is a star. He did an incredible job. They have all their federal permits.
Lee Zeldin.
They don't have their city permits.
Oh my
and the
God.
mayor said to me, we think we could have them in 2 years. I was walking down the street, and I met with firemen and police. And I was saying hello to many people that were standing in front of their homes with yellow tape. You can't go in. You can't go onto the lot. And those people wanted to start rebuilding their homes then and there. And the mayor said, we should be able to get them the permits within 2 years. I said, that's a shame. 2 years. Are you kidding? I'm going to get them the federal permit like almost immediately. 2 years. And she roared back, well, maybe 1 year. The place was booing her out of the place. They don't have their permits to build their homes.
It's true. They don't.
God, I love
they don't have
that.
the permits.
I love it so
Pritzker, the
much.
baby Pritzker. It was so great. Epic. I love that.
Oh my God, but Lee Zeldin was my favorite because he was just so
He was
happy
just
to
like,
be complimented.
I'm here. I'm a baby. I'm here. Oh my God.
That was just the absolute best thing ever.